Did you put Christmas on a credit card? Don't stress out about that extra holiday spending. SaveWithConrad.com can help you consolidate all of your high interest rate credit cards into one much lower monthly payment. SaveWithConrad.com has helped families just like yours save up to $800 a month. You don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket. And did I mention no payments until March? So don't make saving money a resolution next year. Make it happen today at SaveWithConrad.com. NMLS number 2129, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome to WHW Monday. Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson.
Jim Crockett First Arcade, 605 NWA. TV title, Cajun Omni, the Bunkhouse Stampede. Flair and Horseman, Garvin, Bogey, Magnum, Dusty, Express Tag Team. Turner, Bodden, Mid-South Joint World Championship Wrestling.
Talking about the great years of World Championship Wrestling, the NWA, and Jim Crockett Promotions.
Tony and friends North they win. Look, Schiavone's back again. World title split off center stage. Bischoff, Disney, Hogan, and Nitro. New World Order and the Crow. Thunder, Russo, Arquette Champ, Vinnie, Matt, simulcast. Tony's back with Conrad, not your classy podcast. Watch along, try not to laugh. Lowest rules can't pass. This wasn't the initial plan. Tom Zigg's a good-looking man. Klondike Bill, make a chair. Tommy, you come over here.
What happened when? WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Hey, it's Conrad the Mortgage Guy, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm great, Conrad. I just realized looking at that montage at the beginning of this podcast that you probably have two of the greatest moments of my pro wrestling career, and that is Jimmy Valiant kissing me and Bozo hitting me in the face with a cream pie.
Well, we love talking about bozos. It's a little late in the evening to be talking about cream pies, but we're excited that you guys are here with us live on a Monday night immediately after Monday Night Raw. Of course, the entire wrestling world. Tony is curious about John Cena's last match this weekend. We'd love to get your official thoughts on the record here about John Cena's last match.
Good for him.
Well, listen, all the dirt sheets are going to want to know. What's Tony thinking? Well, now you know.
Do they really want to know
Here's
what I
the
think?
quote. Good for him.
Good for him. Good for him on a great career. Now, next.
Absolutely. And I know you want to talk about sports and you want to talk about Georgia and you want to talk about Alabama. So I'll go ahead and I'll listen.
Nope. When Alabama beats Georgia, which is most of the time, admittedly, you're the one who always sticks it up my rear end, but I ain't going to do that. I'm not going to get down in the gutter.
Wait.
If you rednecks from Alabama,
I didn't say shit to you.
Yeah, you did. You said something. Check it out, Dave Silva, and play it back. You sure like Alabama beat Georgia's ass this week is what you said.
I didn't mean on the podcast. I meant in real life on a text message because your kids were live tweeting me as Alabama was just
were they really well? One graduated from Georgia, one works for the Bulldog football team, so they have a vested interest in it. And of course, I worked for the Georgia Bulldog football team for a long time, and I did have a vested interest in it. And now, didn't even watch the game, Conrad. Of course, we were oddly enough, we were in Columbus, Ohio, the same day that Ohio State lost to Indiana. But on Saturday, we were in Columbus, Ohio, and then somebody, I think it was Lois, texted me, said they're kicking Alabama's ass, and I looked and it was 21-0. And I went, good for them.
That, my friends, is what you call a callback in comedy.
Yeah.
Chris Schiavone, he sent me a text message. I woke up on Saturday to a middle finger emoji. So, if I needed a reminder that it was game day, I got it. But it is game day here for us here on a Monday night. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us and watching wrestling with your friends. Join us. Be a part of our live studio audience at patreon.com/WHW Monday, or, of course, adfreeshows.com. And, Tony, we've had a lot of fun in recent weeks watching back some old, silly wrestling. But every now and again, we get to sprinkle in some pretty awesome Ring of Honor stuff that you've never seen before.
Right.
And we've got a pretty big treat lined up for today, I think. Don't you think?
Oh, I think we got one of the biggest treats that we've had here on this podcast because my love of wrestling, what was very much put on hold, I guess. Didn't watch wrestling for the 18 years I was out of the business. And then on this podcast, you and I have had a chance to watch some great stuff that I had never seen before. Did get a chance to watch some TNA, and we watched some ECW.
Yep.
We've watched some Ring of Honor. We watched something shitty last week. What was that last?
Monsters of the Mat, and it was all
Monsters of the Mat from Chicago.
We did watch Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. That was fun.
Yeah, PWG was a lot of fun. So we thought if we're going to watch some Ring of Honor, why not watch it with the person who meant so much to Ring of Honor and it means so much to AEW right now during this era. One of the great stars and one of the great gentlemen I've ever worked with. And let's bring him in right now. Christopher Daniels, CD. What's up, brother? How are you?
Hello, everyone. What a very kind introduction, Tony Schiavone. It means a lot to me as someone who watched, and not to age either one of us, but as someone who watched you on Crocker Promotions and WCW growing up, to become your peer and to work with you has been surreal for me. Do you know what I mean? It's the guys that I got a chance to watch as a fan to become their partners in crime, so to speak.
Right.
It's something, man. It's something, and it means a lot to me. And so if I have your respect, if I have an ounce of your respect, I'm thrilled. It means the world to me. So thank you.
Well, you do, Chris. And fans may not realize this, but you are from North Carolina, right? So you kind of grew up on Crockett Promotions, right?
Yes. Yeah. I was born in Michigan, but my family, my family adopted me, they brought me to Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Okay.
Probably when I was 1 year old. And so I grew up watching Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. The first main event I ever got to see live was Blackjack Mulligan and Jim Brunzell against the Masked Superstars, which was it was very, and I swear there was as Blackjack Mulligan was walking to the ring, I slapped him on the arm and I think I jabbed him with my fingernail. And 20 minutes later, he lost the match. And my head, I said, "Oh my God, I messed up Blackjack Mulligan's game plan. I caused him to lose. What a terrible fan I am." So
that's good stuff. That's good stuff. And then Christopher gets in wrestling. And unfortunately, Christopher, of course, I know you wrestled in WCW.
I did.
And
very short time.
Yeah, I did. And I know it called your match. I didn't remember that.
I wish I could forget it as well, Tony, to be
right.
honest with you, but what are you gonna do?
Because you were injured, right? I mean, you took quite a nasty spill.
Yeah. So I was on Monday Night Nitro, wrestling Mike Modest. And I went for the moonsault, a moonsault where I would run and hit the top rope from the floor into the ring. And then my foot slipped. And the funny thing was, it was something that I had practiced 5 or 6 different times during the day and hit it. And just that one time, it didn't work. And I remember hitting the ropes and thinking, okay, well, I got to turn over because I don't want to land here. And ended up landing here and lost all the feeling in my arm. And if you watch that match back, you could see me running, and it's like I've got a shoestring dangling from my arm.
Wow.
And and the funny thing was, the idea of the angle was Mike and I were supposed to have this, 50-50 cruiserweight yay for wrestling match, and Scott Steiner comes down and breaks both of our legs. So I got legitimately injured 5 minutes or not 90 seconds into the match. Wrestled for however long, then he breaks my leg, and I go backstage, and they offer us developmental contracts.
Okay.
But obviously, I can't come back right away because I just had my leg broken, and then 3 months later, the company was sold. So,
wow.
So there you have it.
Right at the end, man. Right at the end.
But that was honestly my second WCW contract. I was actually signed a year prior. Based on a dark match that I had in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And my first night the first night of my first contract, I had to finish some Japanese commitments, and the first night I was supposed to debut was the night uh, that Bischoff and Russo came to the ring and stripped everybody of their titles that night in Denver, I believe. So
Okay.
that was meant to be my first day, but while I was in Japan, Kevin Sullivan, the gentleman who actually hired me, was fired. Russo and Bischoff took over. And, I got there and they didn't know who I was. And, I met Vince Russo after that. And, I, talked to him about some ideas. But I think because at that time they were doing so much with the power plant, guys like Elix Skipper and Mike Sanders, like those guys got positions on television. And meanwhile, I was flying in every week from Los Angeles and eating catering and waiting for something to happen. So,
Right. Right.
yeah.
What a story, man. And that did not stop you from having a great career. I mean, you had a wonderful career. You really have.
Thank you, man.
And now here you are, a big part of AEW, and obviously one of the coaches. And fans don't realize this, but you live out in LA and you take that long trip to LA each and every week, twice
Every
a
week,
week.
man.
Yeah,
Every week. Yeah.
twice a week. I see you in the morning flights, and you're connecting through to LA, and I'm thinking, wow, that is
Yeah, I
commitment.
got used to red eyeing from the West Coast. It's
Right.
it's the advantage and the disadvantage of living on the West Coast. You can red eye in, you can get that time back when you fly home,
Right.
but it's a lot of flying, and I'm a Delta snob, so it's a lot of flying through Atlanta
Right.
or Detroit or Minneapolis.
Right.
So, but I'm good with it. I'm good with it. I figure I've got my routine down,
Good.
so I'm good.
All right, we're talking with Christopher Daniels, and of course, we're going to watch three of his great matches, and three matches that he remembers, and three matches that, to be honest with you, I have not seen. Conrad, I know you were watching Ring of Honor and loved Ring of Honor back in the day, and
Yes.
I know you were very excited when I got Chris to say he'd come on and be with us here.
Yeah, I mean, Chris was on the very first Ring of Honor show. We'll talk about that today as we're celebrating some Ring of Honor. I think we're going to go to 2017, and this is a trios match that you picked here. Chris, what are we going to watch, and why did you pick this one?
Okay, so this match is myself, my tag team partner Frankie Kazarian, and Hiroshi Tanahashi wrestling against Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks from Toronto, Canada. This was during the period of time where I had the ROH World Heavyweight Championship, and getting the opportunity to wrestle against Kenny Omega in Canada is a surreal. It's a surreal experience. I got to wrestle Kenny Omega one time in a singles match, the only one time. I wrestled in Toronto in like 2010, and that was before he became the Best Bout Machine, the guy that main evented the Tokyo Domes. Like, this was early on Kenny Omega, and then this 2017 match, this is Kenny sort of in the prime of his 5-star matches, that period of time where he's a part of the Bullet Club, he's the leader of the Bullet Club, and basically tearing it up all over the world. So being in a match against him and the Young Bucks, the very early days of the Elite, it was a good time. And I picked the match because it's one of the best, it's one of the most fun experiences I ever had. I felt like there was a period of time in Ring of Honor where I felt like it was very hard to have a bad match, like especially getting in there with the talent that you had and the enthusiasm for the wrestling in Ring of Honor in 2017 was pretty high throughout. So to be able to go and have this main event with these particular guys and getting to tag with Tanahashi, one of the greatest of all time, one of the greatest Japanese wrestlers to walk the planet, it was a big honor for me. And I felt this was, despite the fact that this wasn't obviously a title match, a Ring of Honor title match, like I felt very proud walking into this match as the Ring of Honor World Champion.
All right, man. I feel like we all wake up at 40 years old and say, did it used to take this long to get out of bed? If your joints are stiff after a long car ride or when you wake up first thing in the morning, buddy, you're not alone. We're all getting a little older. Maybe you notice that your nails are breaking, or your skin is losing that glow. I'm telling you, there's times where it just feels like once I hit 35 and then 40, it feels like we're all just slowing down a little bit. But that's because naturally in your body, In your mid 20s, your collagen production starts to naturally decline in your body. And that's where Bub's natural collagen peptides come in. Since my wife actually turned me on to Bub's natural collagen before they were a sponsor here on the program, I was familiar with this. And I got to tell you, I'm feeling better than I have in a long, long time. Bubs helps us restore our collagen levels closer to what your body naturally had in our youth. So your joints are going to feel stronger, your hair and nails will grow healthier, and your skin will look a whole lot smoother. Collagen is the most abundant protein and is often referred to as the glue that holds our body together. And I'm telling you, once you start Bubs, you're gonna notice less joint pain. I've had a bunch in my left knee for a long time. I started Bubs, and guess what? I'm pain free in my left knee now. I'm happy to say. Your hair is going to feel better. Your skin is going to look healthier. You're going to feel like you're bouncing back faster after your workouts. And here's why Bubs is different from all the other collagen products out there. There's no junk. I mean, zero sugars, no sweeteners, no fillers. It's all third party tested, by the way, too. NSF certified, Whole 30 approved. So you know it's clean, you know it's trustworthy. It's also sustainably sourced. We're talking about from grass-fed, pasture-raised cattle. It also mixes seamlessly. You can actually dissolve Bubs in your coffee, your water, or even your smoothies without ever having any taste or clumps. There's over 100,000 happy customers with Bubs, and that's why they were voted 2024's best collagen by health.com. Live better longer. For a limited time only, our listeners can get 20% off at Bubs Naturals by using the code WHW at checkout. Just head on over to bubsnaturals.com and use the code WHW and you're all set. After you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you.
Very cool. All right. So here we go. Ready?
I can't wait to watch it. Let's do it. Tony, you want to count us in?
Yes. In 3. Dave Silva, by the way, is hitting play back in San Antonio, Texas. Dave, are you awake?
Yes, sir. I am awake.
Okay. That's great. Great to know, Dave. How you been doing?
Oh, fantastic.
Okay. All right. Don't really give a shit. But anyway, here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
So what city did you say this was from, Chris?
This was Toronto, Canada. This is the Ted Reeves arena. This was like a hockey arena that we always did Ring of Honor television shows and live events. And yeah, it was always a hot crowd for us. And then, you know, obviously having Kenny as the hometown guy made it 10 times hotter. So
of all the cities you've been in, where does Toronto rank? Is it the worst city by far?
It's tied for the worst. It's not LA, so it's tied for the worst.
Oh, wow. We have been all over the world. I know you have, Chris, but wow.
Yes, sir, man. But I mean, I like as much as I've gotten to travel, like I never, as a kid, never dreamed that I'd be able to go around the world and do the stuff that I got a chance to do.
Yeah.
And make a living from it. So, I mean, I look back at this stuff and it's just, it's special to me to know that I had this life and this career and it's a lot of fun and I'm still traveling. So at least that part of the wrestling career I got to keep.
Okay. Once again, this match is from 2017.
Yes.
Yes.
And so how much had you worked with the Bucks by this time?
Oh, we were like, I've been working with them a lot at this point. Like we did a lot of PWG together,
right?
But like this was the period of time when Frankie and I came in to ROH as the Addiction. We had just left TNA, and the Bucks were there, and they were just starting to get rolling as the Bullet Club, and
right.
So like they were the popular act, and so like they always needed guys to be the antagonists for the Young Bucks. And I felt like Frankie and I were like one of the best antagonist teams for those guys. We worked real well with them. And we always, I felt like the four of us put our matches together. We all had similar mentalities when we were putting our matches together. So it was super easy. It was always a lot of fun. And so, yeah, we probably in the past 3 years at this point, we had done so many regular tags, 6-man tags, 8-man tags. It was just a night at the office for us at that point.
Frankie Kazarian. I saw Frankie at WrestleCade over the Thanksgiving weekend. I know you were there, Chris. I didn't get to see you. I was kind of locked at my table, but Frankie came by. First time I had seen him in a long, long time. It was great to see
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's and I'm thrilled for his recent success. It's awesome that he's
Yep.
finally gotten a chance to run with the ball. It's probably 5 years later than it should have been, but
Right.
also the fact that it happened.
Right.
As someone who won a world championship late in his career, I know that the difference between being a great guy who never won one and a guy who finally wins one is a big deal. Like there's a shift, and I'm glad that Frankie's finally got this opportunity to sort of be the head of the table for a while, and especially with this new deal going with them in January for the new television deal.
Mhm.
That's very special to me. I hope he gets a long and storied reign over there.
So Tanahashi's in. He wants Kenny Omega. I just love Matt Jackson and Nick.
Yeah, I mean this was early. So like I said, this was early on in their sort of the Big Bullet Club BTE sort of stuff. So like the beginning of this match, me and Matt, Matt would always this was when they were in the midst of doing the Too Sweet, and so we had called an idea where he would poke me in the eyes with the Too Sweet,
Right.
and then I followed it up with a 3 Sweet because I did 3 fingers in his eyes,
Okay.
and did that. That was my contribution to the tomfoolery in this particular match. So you're going to see actual wrestling here. The beginning
Okay.
started with 2 sweets and 3 sweets, a
Right.
couple of eye pokes from Christopher Daniels. So
Mhm.
I'm conserving my energy for the later parts of the match at
Okay.
this point.
Very cool. By the way, for our live audience watching us on YouTube, again, if you have a question for Christopher Daniels, it is what is the hashtag? I saw it a minute ago.
Ask Chris. Hey,
Ask
Chris,
Chris.
one of the questions I wanted to ask you talked about your WCW
Okay.
experience. We've already had some comments here in the live chat. People have heard this story forever about you. You already know where I'm going. In June of 99, was Christopher Daniels supposed to be the higher power? So you mentioned when you were in WCW, you ran into Vince Russo.
Right.
So I wanted to ask, did you meet him back in 99 when he worked for the WWF? What's real and what's not real?
No, I never met Vince until WCW. And the rumor about me being the higher power, if that was ever discussed, it was never discussed with me. And I think part of the reason that it came about is because, I was doing sort of a religious style character,
Yeah.
sort of a cult leader style character. And I
Yes.
think that conceivably someone said, "Oh, there's a guy in the indies, he's a good wrestler, he's doing a character that could conceivably fit
I got you.
a religious aspect." But honestly, like to me, it was a bad idea to say that, "Oh, this unknown character is the leader of the Undertaker." And so I don't think and of course I'm sure Vince McMahon, once they said, "Oh, this is the guy we're talking about," and I'm 5'11" and 200 pounds at best, he wasn't thinking like, "Oh yeah, definitely that's the guy that should be talking down to Undertaker and telling him what to do." So I mean, I never thought it would have gotten anywhere anyway. Probably would have been a bad idea. And that was sort of the mindset that they had for my first WCW run as well. They had pitched an idea where I was going to be Vampiro's secret leader. They had sort of described it to me as like if Vampiro was Darth Vader, then I would be the Emperor. And
Mhm.
again, I thought, well, as an unknown, that doesn't make any sense. If you introduce me as the guy, like I had people try to explain to me like, "Oh no, it would have been good because they would have established you as the guy." And I was like, "Yeah, but you can't hide me behind a hood and then reveal me and expect people to go, 'Oh, hey, Christopher Daniels from All Pro Wrestling or
Right.
whatever.'"
Right.
And I
Right.
was like, if they introduced me as Christopher Daniels and, "Hey, I have control of Vampiro," then okay, you've given me some cachet. But I thought hiding me behind a hood and then, having that be a mystery and then having this be the reveal, I thought, well, not a good idea either. So,
Hmm.
so I was never the higher power, and I was Vampiro's boss for one errant pre-tape on Nitro.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know if Tony, I don't know if you know the story, but we taped a pre-tape of me and Vampiro. I had a hood. I was
Hmm.
sitting sideways. I was in this wacky throne,
Yeah.
and I cut this promo about how he needed to harvest souls and stuff like that. Taped it in the afternoon. I'm backstage as it airs live on Nitro, and as
Yeah.
soon as it's done, Jeff Jarrett, who I hadn't really met at this point, Jeff Jarrett says, "Who the fuck was that?" And I was like, and that was my introduction to WCW. What's that?
Does he know this story? I'm sure you've told
Yeah,
him.
100%. Oh yeah, 100%. We've talked about it. We've talked about it a couple times at this
Oh,
point.
that is so good.
But yeah. But I was just, some blonde. I had blonde hair at this point. I was just some blonde haired kid in the back. He didn't know, and no one, you didn't see my face in the promo either. So like they're all watching it, and they're like, "What the fuck's going on here?" Yeah, that's me, Jeff. Nice to meet you.
How many days into your TNA reign was it before you brought that up? Because that's an
Oh
all-time
God,
story.
I don't remember. I don't remember when I actually had the discussion with Jeff about this. It had to have been later down the line because honestly, the first couple years of TNA, um, we were flying in the day of the show and flying out the next morning, like flying to Nashville. I would fly in the morning of the show. I would get to the building at like 1 and call time was 2 or whatever. And then we worked all day and then we went out and so I didn't get really close with Jeff until after we started doing on Orlando, I think.
I
So
got you.
honestly, 3 to 4 years in, maybe 4 years in.
Wow.
Yeah. He might have better insight as to when I pulled him aside and went, "Hey man, you remember me?"
All right. Right now it's Kenny Omega and Frankie N. Why don't we pick up some of the commentary here, Dave Silva?
The clothesline this Kaz calls for a big drop kick, but still
Well,
standing
Ian
this way is Kenny
Riccaboni on the
Omega,
call.
trying to make the
Yeah.
tag. Oh, and the Bucks were there.
I will say this too about working with the Young Bucks. Working with the Young Bucks and Kenny in these style of matches, like it was always fun because like this match is, I want to say it's close to 29 minutes, but it never feels like it's slow. It never feels there's always these segments of like a little bit of ha-ha, a little bit of high spots.
Right.
And then like just ongoing on stuff's always happening to me. That's the kind of stuff that I always liked with these guys is like you could do like 20 minutes and it felt like just 20 minutes of like it went by so fast.
Right.
It was so much fun. Like
Right.
you don't even realize you're in the ring for 30 minutes by the time you're done. You're just like, oh,
Yeah.
that was cool. Especially with the crowd like this.
Sure.
They're into everything. At this point, the Bucks and Kenny could do no wrong. Like this sort of nonsense of 5 super kicks and doing the bucket catch.
Yeah.
This was a Buck staple.
Right. The same thing with announcers, CD. It's like, a match that goes 30 minutes. If it's a great match, it doesn't seem like it goes 30 minutes calling the match.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really, really doesn't. I like that spot, that bucket catch, man.
Yeah, that was a go-to back in the day.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll bring it back. I'll talk to him.
Yeah. Talk to him about bringing
I'll
it
talk
back.
to him.
Yeah.
Chris, we're just days away from Tanahashi's last match. Do you have any Tanahashi stories you can share with us?
Oh, nothing really. I mean, honestly, this we tagged a couple times. Other than this, I think we did another 6-man in Philadelphia at the ECW arena for a TV taping. And I did a lot of tours in New Japan with him, but not. I never got a chance to wrestle him. I almost did once at a New Japan Strong show, but I was his original opponent ended up showing up. I was like bandied about as a potential substitute, and I was like, yeah, that'd be great, but it didn't work out that way. But the opportunity to share the ring with him, it was a lot of fun, man. And he's one of the best, and no one has a bad word to say about Tanahashi. And if you can go through a 20-plus year career, I'm not sure exactly how long it's been for him, but if you can get through a 20-plus year career for him without a bad word to say about you, man, that's something, man. He's just one of the best and one of the nicest guys. And I hope it goes well for him in January. I'm sure, getting a chance to finish it up with Okada is something that he's really going to enjoy.
Yeah, and you're right. Going through 20 years without a bad word said about him in the wrestling business. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty unique.
Well, maybe all the bad stuff they're saying about him is in Japanese, and you and I don't understand it. They're all saying it to themselves. They're not telling us.
This
We got to talk about what we're watching here too. This is a big year for the Bucks and Kenny Omega. Of course, what we're talking about is 2017, and it was 2016 and 2017 when these guys started to get a lot of newsletter praise. And I know that you had one of the first 5-star matches in like over a decade in that 3-way in TNA. And I'm curious, at that point in your career, did that feel like a big deal to have this critical acclaim in the Wrestling Observer? I'm talking way back in 05 when you first got a 5-star, and it was really the first one for TNA, and I think the first one in North America in like a decade or so. Did that feel like a big deal, or was that not something you ever really valued at the time?
I mean, I appreciate Dave's opinion. Like, I certainly recognize that he's someone that has watched a ton of wrestling and has watched it like with a critical eye. Like he recognizes the trends. He recognizes what's successful and not successful, in terms of like the trends of fan viewership and fan attendance and that sort of thing. And so for him to say like, oh, this match was uh not perfect, but certainly 5 stars at that point was like the high end.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. And I think there were a lot of things about that match that I think the historical significance is one of the reasons that I think it got 5 stars. The idea of the X division being defended in the main events. It's one of our we hadn't been doing pay-per-view for very long at that point. Like it wasn't even a year. That was like the 11th pay-per-view we had done. And the idea of 3 basically TNA made stars main eventing and having this match. And I think the crowd helped the reception. You know what I mean? The way the crowd went over for everything that we were doing made the match seem bigger than it could have been. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like I've seen matches in buildings with fans that weren't as receptive, that were great matches, but I think having a bad reception from the crowd sort of brings the match down in terms of like how you watch it. And so like I credit the atmosphere for being one of the reasons why that match got 5 stars.
Yeah. Chris, as well as I do, especially on a pay-per-view, if you have some very good talent wrestling and it's going to be, as we say, a great match, or some people say a banger, a lot of people don't want to follow that match because the crowd is up, and then the crowd obviously has been spent down a little bit. And even though you have a great match, to follow that tremendous match, sometimes it doesn't come across that way because of the fan response. So that's very, very important.
And honestly, that was sort of one of the reasons they put us in the main event that night. Because they had seen me and AJ wrestle, they had seen me and Joe wrestle, they had seen Joe and AJ wrestle, and they thought like, okay, well, this would be potentially disastrous for someone to follow.
Right.
And so, I mean, and we didn't know we were going to be the main event of that particular show until that day.
Wow.
We don't know that stuff until they're like, oh, we're last. Oh, we're last, guys. Shit. So I mean, yeah, I think they took all that into consideration,
right?
And and honestly, I mean, it worked out to the benefit of the show too, because I mean that's the thing that everybody's been talking about for 20 years at this point.
Yeah. And we've seen that match here on What Happened When, and
Oh yeah,
yeah, we sure
oh,
did.
you guys
We-
are sweethearts. Thanks for
yeah,
watching.
no problem. We always like watching good matches, and as we have found out, and we found out last week, a lot of times we like to watch bad shit.
All right.
Yeah, we did watch a match, Chris, at the that was taped at the Golden Corral in Alabama, somewhere outside.
Yes.
Oh boy,
Yeah, with Alabama Doink, and that was incredible.
is that his name, Alabama Doink, or is that just where he's
Yes.
from? He's the Doink of Alabama.
Well, he
That's
was.
amazing.
He's passed away now.
Okay.
He's working at that big golden corral in the sky now.
Yeah,
Oh, rest in peace,
Yeah.
Alabama Doink. I'm sorry.
Alabama Doink. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had a short run in your book. Born here on December 8th, 2025, and come to an end here on December 8th, 2025. We got a live studio audience here. Bryant wants to know, hey, Chris, I always
Hey.
enjoy the storyline of you winning the ROH title from Adam Cole. How much fun was that story to pull off, and what did it mean to win the Ring of Honor title?
Well, as far as fun, it was amazing. When the potential of me winning the title was discussed, and we talked about the story getting from how I would earn the title shot to getting to Las Vegas. We kicked around a couple of ideas, but one of the things that I remember saying was, I thought for this spot to work, I felt like we had to do. Adam and I did a bunch of tag matches in the build up to this, and every time he pinned me in every tag match we did. And I thought I wanted everybody to think like there was no way that 47-year-old Christopher Daniels at that time was going to beat one of the best wrestlers in the world, Adam Cole. And so I just kept sort of hammering that home by having him beat me in these tag matches. And then my original pitch to Adam, or at least to Creative, I wanted to sort of replicate, and I can't remember the name of the match or the name of the show it was on, but it was the night that Barry Windham cut his hair and dressed up like Sting and ran
Okay.
into the ring, and I want to say it was Sting and
Sid
Vicious.
Halloween
Yeah.
Havoc 1990.
Okay, so I wanted to do this thing where Frankie put on a wig and put on Matt Jackson's tights and ran in the ring, and I wanted to do a thing where it looked like the Bucks turned on Adam Cole.
Wow.
And Frankie talked me out of it. Frankie was like, no, what if we did Mike Tyson at WrestleMania, Austin versus Michaels? And then he suggested he join the Bullet Club. And so and after he and I talked about that, we thought that was amazing. I thought that was a great idea. And so we did a spot where he joined the Bullet Club. He actually wrestled a couple of shows, tagging with Bullet Club on ROH. And the night that I wrestled Adam Cole, he was in like a 4-way match, I think, where he won a TV title shot as a member of the Bullet Club. And then at the end of the night, he ripped off the Bullet Club shirt and had a Christopher Daniels shirt underneath, and the rest is history. So I mean that match, and I tell Adam Cole all the time, it's the best match of my career that I ever won. It's the only one that people care about that I actually won, and that's one thing that they'll never take away from me, is the fact that I was Ring of Honor World Champion. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
it's, you go back at the end of your career and you look back at the stuff you did to be able to say like, oh, I was a world champion and I took this title to England and Australia and Canada and all this stuff. That means a lot. It means a lot to me. And it's sort of like what I was talking about with Frankie earlier, the difference between being a guy that never won it and finally getting it. That's how I felt that night. The idea of like, oh, I finally made it to this level.
We saw a pretty good sequence here between you and Kenny Omega back and forth in the Snapdragon, and everybody
Triple
there's a
super kick,
triple super
right in my
kick.
face.
That's right. And a save. Very good. Man, good stuff.
And this is the fun stuff with those guys. Like I said, like the sequences of triple teams and this sort of stuff. That's what Matt and Nick do better than anyone else, I think. And I think that's one of the reasons why they asked me to be the producer on their stuff, is because we did so much of this stuff together.
Right.
I sort of think the same way they think, and I can help them put these matches together
Sure.
in a sequence that best accentuates their strengths and their style and everything.
Sure.
So, and this is fun getting to, I think it's high fly flow and then best moonsault, maybe. Yep, there it is. Ding ding.
Yep. How about that?
For the pause, little pause.
Oh,
there we
yeah.
go.
That's not Paul Turner, is it? A heavy Paul Turner?
Yes.
It is Paul Turner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Paul Turner was from the very beginnings of Ring of Honor, a part
Wow.
of Ring of Honor. So like, yeah, he's been there from the get-go as well.
You say as well because you were actually on the very first Ring of Honor show, the three-way dance. Tell us what you remember about the very first Ring of Honor show.
Well, honestly, like it wasn't a big deal the night of. It honestly was the middle of a 3-day weekend for me. Like, I did a show in New Jersey on the Friday. I did the Ring of Honor show on the Saturday, and then Sunday morning we all flew to Las Vegas and we did the WWA pay-per-view, where I did like an opening 6-man scramble match with Low Key and Nova and Shark Boy and Tony Marmaluke and AJ. And you know, and at that point, like, that was a pay-per-view. So for me, the big show of the weekend was the pay-per-view.
Sure.
Right.
Thinking, oh, WWA is going to be a thing. They're doing a pay-per-view. Maybe I'll get on some WWA shows. Little did I know that I was going to get into this company that slowly but surely was going to become what it is today, which is, you know, one of the most influential promotions of the past, 30 years.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, man, and that was another situation where we got there, and the other match on the show was Eddie Guerrero and Super Crazy, and then we get there and they're like, "Okay, you guys are the main event," and we're like, "Wait, what? We're following Eddie Guerrero? Are you kidding me?" But I mean, that was a mentality. Gabe Sapolsky, who works for the WWE at this point, at the time he was the booker for Ring of Honor, and I think his mentality was he wanted to create his own stars that night. And so he got 3 of the best guys he could find from the independent scene and put him in the main event. And another situation where, the 3 guys in the ring, myself, Low Key, Bryan Danielson, we all worked together well. We all sort of put our matches together the same way. And we had worked a couple times before, and it ended up making something that I think if you watch the match back today, it still sort of stands up.
Yeah. Well, buddy, this match stands out because I have seen some spots here that, and we're talking this is 2017. We're talking 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And just that things that you see today that have been integrated into pro wrestling today.
Yeah.
Yeah. That you're seeing right now.
And to me, a lot of that stuff was because of Matt and Nick. Like, to me, they were always the 2 guys that thought the most outside of the box and changed some of the way that tag team wrestling is done.
Right.
And now, oh no, this isn't Paul Turner. This isn't. This is God. His name escapes me at the moment. This is not Paul Turner as the referee.
Okay. All right.
This is Todd Sinclair.
Okay.
No, is that his name? Todd Sinclair? God. No. It's not Todd Sinclair. It's what is his name? Crap.
Well, he just got super kicked.
But Paul Turner, and here's Cody Rhodes.
Wow, Cody.
This was in the middle of a storyline with me and Cody going for the world title, which is why he gets involved. And then basically this all leads to the finish here. You missed Kenny hit me with the V trigger. Yeah. And then the boys do this to me, drop me on my dime neck. And then here's Kenny. Oh, that is Paul Turner. Okay, we had 2 referees. God, I completely forgot.
Okay.
See, CTE is real, gentlemen. This is all these bumps, so they'll they'll come and get you at the end. Yep, that is Paul. Oh, that's right. We did the ref bump. That's why. And that's how I usually end a lot of my matches, was on my back, counting the lights. The end.
This message is brought to you by Raycon. If you're looking for a holiday gift, I've been using Raycon's Essential Open Earbuds, and honestly, they're so good. I love I can play my music or my favorite podcasts and still hear what's going on around me. Seriously, my wife uses them at the gym. I use it at the office here. If someone calls my name, neither one of us miss a thing. And right now, they're up to 20% off for the holidays, so definitely grab a pair while you still can. You see, regular earbuds block out everything. You won't hear someone calling your name, a car honk, or any of that. And these Raycon ones sit just outside your ear canal. So you get a really clear sound, but you can actually hear what's happening around you too. They're really light, and the ear hook part rotates, so they actually stay in. You can wear them at the gym, walking your dogs, doing stuff around the house, and they won't fall out. They won't get uncomfortable. Raycon has over 3 million customers because the sound quality is just as good as those way more expensive brands, but you're not paying for the silly retail markup or some stupid celebrity endorsement. And if for some crazy reason you don't love your Raycons, they got a 30-day guarantee. But you're going to love the open ear design. You're going to love the multi-angular hook. You're going to love how lightweight it is. You're going to love how seamlessly it can switch between different devices. So if you pair it with your computer at work, you can pair it with your car, you're good to go. By the way, you also get 36 hours of battery life. So you got 8-hour earbuds, and you've even got a 36-hour case. Yeah. Think about all that listening you've got. The Essential Open Earbuds are here for the holiday season, and they're selling fast. Raycon audio products are up to 20% off this holiday season. So hurry to buyraycon.com/WHW open to save on Raycon audio products site-wide. Order by December 15th, and they'll guarantee delivery by Christmas, because great gifts shouldn't show up late. That's buyraycon.com/WHW open. Well, we want to recommend that you go watch all of Chris's great Ring of Honor matches at watchroh.com. That's watchroh.com. We greatly appreciate Jeff Jones and Tony Khan and Ring of Honor for providing us with all of this footage today that we get to watch with Mr. Daniels. And if you've got a question for him, we certainly want to hear from you. So if you're part of our live studio audience, keep those questions coming. James Elking's with us, and he says, what match or moment in your career did you feel like it was your first time that you quote unquote got over? Was there a moment when you feel like, hey, I made it? This is all right. I'm getting it. It's clicking for me now. This is going to work.
Wow. I don't know. I don't know if I had an actual single moment, but I can tell you there was a period of time in 1999 where, when I moved to California in 1996, I lived in Chicago. That's where I was trained. And I made the decision to move to California because my wife and I, we were both actors. We came up, we both had college degrees in theater. We had acting aspirations. We moved to Chicago to get into the acting scene up there. And that was where I found out about Windy City Pro Wrestling and got into wrestling there. So in 1996, I was having success at Windy City. I'd been wrestling it for like 2 years. I had just finished a short stint in Puerto Rico for Carlos Colon's company. And my wife said, hey, you're successful in this little venture that you're doing. I can't be successful in my career here in Chicago. Let's move to Los Angeles. So we moved to Los Angeles. And so I got a job at the Walt Disney Imagineering Company. Basically, Imagineering is the facet of the Walt Disney Company that deals with the theme parks. And so I was working on the docks where blueprints for rides at Disneyland, blueprints for props and things for movies, all of those things would come through the dock, and I was just delivering them. And the company, I told them I was a professional wrestler and I was doing independent work. At this point, I was getting booked on the East Coast pretty frequently. And so they would allow me to leave. If I had to fly out on Thursday night to go to a Friday show, they would let me leave and miss Friday. It was a Monday through Friday job. And I remember, and then I started getting booked in Japan. And those tours were, sometimes a week, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks. So I remember in May of 1999, in all of May, I worked at Walt Disney Imagineering 3 days out of the entire month. And the rest of the time I was either in Japan or on the East Coast doing independence. And so I went to my boss. I was then offered the Michinoku Pro Tour, the Masked Man tournament, which was a 6-week tour. And I went to my boss at Imagineering. I said, hey, can I take 6 weeks off? And they were like, hey, listen, you've been great, but if you have to go do this tour, we're going to have to fill your job with someone else. And I was like, okay. And that was when that was the last time I had a full-time job. And that was when wrestling became my full-time job. And so that moment for me was like, oh, I'm not a hobby guy. I'm not a guy who has a full-time job and then wrestles on the weekends. This is now my job. And so from that point, from the middle of 1999 until TNA started and Ring of Honor started in 2002, I lived on wrestling on the independents. I wrestled pretty much every weekend. I wrestled on the independents and then doing tours in Japan. That's how I made my living. And I lived in California, probably the most expensive state to live.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I did that living off of independent wrestling and Japan. And so, like, in the midst of that, I sort of thought, okay, this is working. This is working. And I remember thinking to myself as a student in the school at 1993, I thought, you know, famous, okay, world champion, rich, okay. If I could just support my family doing this, that was sort of the goal. All that other stuff was like gravy. If I could get rich, cool. If I could become famous, cool. If I had become world champion of WCW at that point or WWE or wherever, great. But if I could feed my family and own my house and, you know, pay my bills with my wrestling career, then I'm a wrestler. And that was sort of the beginning of like, oh, I'm actually a wrestler now and this is my life. That was a long-winded answer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
I'm
Oh, it's
sorry. I'm
fantastic.
sorry, person.
yeah. Well,
I didn't whittle that down for time. Sorry about that, guys.
well, anybody that knows Christopher Daniels backstage like I do knows that Christopher can talk.
I can string a few of them together.
Yes,
yeah.
you sure can. Yes, you sure can.
Well, we're excited that we're going to string together another one of your great matches. Let's roll that footage and tell us what we're watching here. I think that this might be.
This is Claudio.
Philosophically, he didn't see eye to eye with them.
I can say this. I'll say this off the top. Like, Claudio Castagnoli is one of my favorite people that I got a chance to work with that now works with me in AEW. I've had the good fortune of producing a lot of his matches in the past 2 or 3 years. And every time, without fail, it's such an easy task. He makes everything so easy. Everything just sort of flows together. And I don't think he's had a bad match. I don't think he's had a bad match in a while. And if he's had a bad match, it hasn't been in AEW at all.
Right? No, you're
and
right.
It's never been when I was around. And this one definitely is also not a bad match. He was one of the strongest men I ever wrestled. There's a couple things I think I do in this match that I wouldn't do with any human being on the planet except Claudio, because you can trust him to catch you if you're falling out of a plane. That's how strong this guy is. It's incredible.
Yeah. And he's just like so many that are still in the ring today, just a pro's pro. I mean, just
100%. And his progression from this period of time, which is 2011 to 2025, where he's, to me, I think he's in better shape now than he is here. He's in great shape. But I mean, he's in great shape. He's in such better shape now. He's
Right.
such a well-rounded professional. And I mean, just the stuff he's been doing in the last couple of years. He's one of those guys that he can do anything you want. And if you're the promoter, you know you can put him on the first match, in the main event. It doesn't matter what. He can do it all. And I'm so fortunate that I got a chance to work with him, not just here in Ring of Honor during this time. I got the chance to wrestle him in the later years at AEW. Um, always fun, always fun. And I remember this match uh, as fondly as someone who has terrible memory can remember it. I remember having a lot of fun with this. And I'll tell you why I remember this match near the end, because it has a lot to do with the finish, but we'll
Okay.
watch. Let's continue.
Yeah, who's at ringside with him? He has a couple
Okay,
of guys.
this is Shane Hagedorn. This is his manager. This is
Okay.
when he was a member of the Kings of Wrestling. So him and Chris Hero were the team, and
Right.
then Shane
Right.
Hagedorn was the manager, and then the young lady in the pink is Sarah Del Rey. And I hope I'm not breaking kayfabe here, but that's also Mrs. Castagnoli at this point.
Okay.
And if I am breaking kayfabe, please edit this out and don't tell him that I said anything.
Okay. Well, of course,
He could
Hagedorn
kill me if he wanted to.
Hagedorn worked for us in marketing
Yes.
or in
Yes.
merchandising. Yeah.
Yes, he did.
One of the great guys. I wish he was still with us, actually.
Yes, he's a great gentleman.
Yeah.
He's in the midst of putting together a book about the early years of ROH.
Good.
And
Good.
when that comes out, I hope it sells 1 million copies and everybody gets one.
I do too.
When did you realize that the Ring of Honor opportunity was going to be something more than you initially thought? Was it the critical acclaim? Was it when there were bigger crowds, when they started to tour a little more?
I think it was more about the touring. And it came in stages. Like at first it was, oh, we're coming back to Philadelphia every month. And then it was, oh, we're going to Boston, we're going to Connecticut, we're going to New York, we're going to New Jersey. And slowly but surely, like, it became more stable. And at that point too, like, I was looking for long-term employment. Like, we all were seeking a place to call home, to be honest with you. And early on in 2002, the beauty of the TNA and the ROH situations were that TNA was running Wednesdays. No one had shows Wednesdays. So the pay-per-views on Wednesdays were a payday that you weren't going to get otherwise. And then ROH would have shows sometimes Friday, sometimes Saturday, sometimes Friday and Saturday. And slowly but surely, it became a way to build an income, which was, what we were looking for at that point, especially those of us that, the guys that, especially a guy that missed out on WCW by the slimmest of margins, so like looking for the job, the place that would have you back month after month, that was the goal. And it was about a couple years in where it was like, oh yeah, this is starting to be a thing.
When you think back to those early days, call it 02, 03, 04, before TNA got their real TV deal, did you have a preference on working for Ring of Honor or TNA, or was it just another day at the office either way?
No, I mean, so they were so similar in their mindsets. It really was just different players playing the same game, to be honest with you. And a lot of us did both. Like AJ was at TNA and ROH very often. So I mean, there were a lot of us that were playing both sides. And I didn't have any preference. Like, it was just fun. To me, it was all good work. It was fun. I was working with great guys. And the similarity was that we were all people that, for one reason or another, weren't at the WWE, which at that point was the only game in town. So if we weren't getting the opportunity at the WWE, having this opportunity to show our skills and, perfect our sport, we that was what we were looking for. And that was what both companies sort of offered. And if you could do it in both places, it was just, gravy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, there was no preference. I had fun wrestling guys in both places. It was always, I was living the dream. This was what I wanted to do when I became a wrestler. I wanted to earn my living doing this, and working with these guys. It was hard work, but it was easy. Do you know what I mean? It was like,
Sure.
they tell you, like, if you find if you find a job you love, you don't work a day in your life. This was fun. This was cake. You know what I mean? The worst pro wrestling match I had in Ring of Honor is 10 times better than the best day I had at home, goofing off, reading comic books. You know what I mean? Although I do like comic books, so maybe I should rethink that.
Yeah. You sure do. And there's
I
your
do.
comic books behind you. And yes, sir. Absolutely.
We're watching some fantastic matches here. I hope everybody can watch them along with us. Want to give a shout out to watchroh.com for allowing us to show the footage. When you sign up for Honor Club, not only do you get this incredible catalog of all the great classic matches from a lot of your favorite wrestlers that you see on either channel these days, but you also get to check out the awesome Ring of Honor pay-per-views. Like we just had one this past weekend. Tony, we haven't had a chance to catch up. What was your experience at the Ring of Honor show? And if you didn't get to attend that one in person, I'm sure you watched it on pay-per-view. What did you think?
Didn't go there in person, but once again, there is just so much talent that we have, and I'm so glad that we have given Ring of Honor and a chance to talent that doesn't necessarily get to wrestle on AEW on a regular basis. Like, for instance, I love Red Velvet, as you know, and yes. I just her win against Mercedes Moné was certainly unexpected by fans. I think they were shocked. I think she performed very, very well. I think she's going to continue to be a big star. And I just thought it was a great way to really put some notoriety on that pay-per-view. I think anytime you've got Mercedes Moné and she loses, I think it puts a lot of attention on what's going on. So I really enjoyed it. Wasn't there, had other things, and Tony let me have the day off. So, and then let me say this, Ian, Riccaboni is just a great wrestling announcer, and he did the next night with us with Collision, and I love working with him. I thought we did a great job with Nigel, who, by the way, is a miserable British son of a bitch.
He is a British son of a bitch.
Yeah, and
here's a spot. We'll watch this real quick. This is something
okay, yeah,
I would never do with anyone else in the world.
Okay,
this is me jumping off, doing a Rana to the floor.
Oh my!
To someone, I wouldn't do this with any two other people on the planet.
Wow.
Just Claudio.
And
it was always fun working Claudio, because that was when you're like, oh, you can throw me around. I can pretend I'm Rey Mysterio Jr. And I'm not Rey Mysterio Jr. Let me just assure you.
Yeah.
And this is Claudio clobbering me.
Yeah. Hagedorn holding on to Claudio that time.
This is why I can't remember a lot of the stuff that happened. So there you go.
Wow.
Don't try this at home, kids.
Oh no, man. Gosh. I'm just amazed, Chris, throughout your career. And I know, you did not do this. No one has done the things that Darby Allin has done. But I'm just amazed that you guys can even walk today. It's just,
you know what? Honestly, I'm relatively unscathed in terms of injury. I mean, I've got garbage knees. Like, my knees are rotten.
Yeah.
And my neck is rotten. But honestly, other than the injury from WCW and the few times that I really banged my knees up,
yeah.
I really was very fortunate to not sustain serious injury in any one single way. Like, the stuff that I'm dealing with now, my knees, that's all like wear and tear. That's
right.
That's 32 years of running. And I mean, as often as I did the moonsault, my knees never hurt me because of the moonsault.
Wow.
Like, I very rarely landed on my knees with the moonsault. So yeah, I mean, you don't know. And I mean, Darby, like, I've had the opportunity to produce a couple of his matches. I produced the tag match he had with Sting when Sting retired. One of my great pleasures to be the producer of that match. And there's just the stuff that he's willing to do. It's an incredible determination to go into a situation and know, okay, I'm going to do this to myself. I'm going to do this. But I will be honest, like 9 times out of 10, he comes back relatively unscathed. And it's amazing considering the crazy stuff that he has done.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've done the craziest thing I ever did would probably rate a 3 on the Darby Allin scale. So, I mean, yeah, he's one of one.
Yes, he is.
And I hope he, you know, I know he's going through some health stuff right now. I hope he comes back soon, healthy and happy. And he's definitely one of one for sure.
I saw a headline where they said somebody had written. Sometimes I'll just go. I'll just type in AEW news and saw a headline that said the Darby Allin shot in the hospital was really Darby Allin in a hospital, and I went, yeah, it sure was.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And then I saw him on Saturday, and he was back to his old self, man.
Yeah. I had a discussion with him, and it's funny too. Like he told me after Everest, he's got a different mindset, which I didn't get a chance to talk to him like at length, but I feel like going through what he went through to get to Everest and do Everest, it sort of put him at ease about everything else. Like if you can go and do that, like the business, the pro wrestling business maybe isn't that serious comparatively. Maybe that's how I'm interpreting it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like in the end, what we do, like you can take it too seriously. You can let it like drive your mind crazy, and you know, if you dwell on it too much,
sure,
and you focus on it too much, it can be a detriment. Like anything can be a detriment.
Right.
But I think, you know, maybe I feel like Darby, the way I interpreted what he said was, you know, maybe they'll just take a step back and sort of relax and let life happen rather than, you know, fixate rather than to fixate. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he'll come back and be like, Chris Daniels doesn't know what he's talking about. I didn't mean that at all. I hope he doesn't. But
well, I think it put life in perspective for him. You know, I mean,
for sure. That's a great way to put it. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, it was a great accomplishment. It was unbelievable accomplishment.
You know, he must be the first professional wrestler to do that. I
Yes.
guess. I would think.
Probably the first professional wrestler that wanted to do that.
Yeah. Probably.
Okay.
Probably. I could see that.
Yeah.
Like it never even occurred to me.
Yeah.
Like it might be possible, but it never once occurred to me like, oh, maybe I should go climb this mountain.
Wow. Great spot right there, Chris. Great spot.
And that's another one that like you can only like there's few people in the world you can do that with.
Right.
Claudio was definitely one of them.
Yeah. Put you up in the air and you come down with a DDT.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Great stuff.
Yeah. Just the perfect base. I heard some of our luchadors speaking about Claudio on Saturday at Collision.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically said to each other, like, you perfect trust him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's not going to drop you.
Yeah.
Like I said, he can catch you coming out of a plane.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's nothing he can't physically do in terms of strength.
Is this back in Toronto, where we saw that first match?
No, this is somewhere in North Carolina, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
That's the lowest run-in that you just heard there.
Yeah,
I was gonna say it wasn't my house, was it? But okay, cool.
No. It's Lois is getting to bed. Well, she's late to get to bed, and she's trying to round the dogs up. And sometimes it's difficult to round the dogs up.
And I don't know if you heard, but one of those dogs is named
family.
Goddamn.
Did she say goddamn?
She said the goddamn dog.
I'm a dog family here. I don't know if early on in this podcast I was struggling with my daughter's service animal, who's a golden Labrador.
Right.
Oh wow.
And so I know your pain, Tony Schiavone. I too have had to round up the goddamn dogs.
I think this weekend while I'm out of town, my wife is getting a third goddamn dog for my house.
Is she really?
I was shown a picture and asked if she would be in trouble if it was here when I got home. And I said, what does that mean? Trouble. So I think that was probably the wrong answer. So I imagine on Sunday I will have 3 dogs here at the house, Tony. I'm trying to play catch up to you.
I think
5, Chris.
5.
Wow.
Yeah, we got 5.
2 big, 3 small, all pains in the ass.
Yeah,
far.
we got 5-2, and I think
Oh,
one of those dogs may have peed in the house, and that's why you heard a
uh-oh.
goddamn dog. Okay, but it does happen.
Hey,
So
Chris, I wanted to ask, we talked about your WCW experience, but
Okay.
you had a lot of success on the indies prior to that. I'm curious, did you ever have a conversation with Paul Heyman in 99 or 2000 before ECW closed up shop in 01?
I actually worked in ECW. I wrestled in the ECW arena against Rhino. I was there for 5 matches, and 2 of them were against Rhino. So there's a television. You can go on YouTube and see. I think you can go on YouTube and see Christopher Daniels versus Rhino with hair.
wow.
I have hair. Rhino always has hair, but I had hair. So you may not recognize it looking at it. See, this is something Claudio should do more often.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
We called it the UFO. I always loved that. That was always a fun one. I don't know if anybody volunteers for it like I would though. So maybe not. Maybe that's why he doesn't do it anymore. No one wants to be spun around like a crazy person looking up at the ceiling.
Yeah, but you trust him though, right? Just like you said.
Oh God. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so.
Whatever
So
you
yeah,
want to do.
go back to ECW. Yes, I was out there. I did like 3 weeks where I actually stayed with Steve Carino in his house in Philadelphia for like 2 weeks straight. And I think at this point it was just hard to fly me back. It was hard to justify flying me back and forth from Los Angeles
I
to
see.
the East Coast. So yeah, that was my understanding. Like no one ever like there's been rumors of like, oh, you pissed Paul off or oh, you pissed off the locker room. And I was like, I don't think so, but I mean, maybe someone in the comments knows more than I do. But yeah, I was there and then I wasn't there and I thought, oh well, I guess that's that's how it goes. It's they if they were having money problems, I could see me being low on the totem pole at that point. So
Yeah. Well,
Collision
we're live
Squad,
here. We got
O'Connor
to
roll.
Okay. There
Take
goes
that, Shane
Hagedorn.
Hagedorn.
Yep.
So we're coming close to the finish here, if I recall correctly. And here's Mike Bennett. Now, at the time, I was we didn't say this at the beginning, but at the time, I was the ROH TV champion.
Okay.
And so this was a title defense against Claudio, and Mike Bennett was in line to get a TV title shot from me. And so at this point, he's going to get the belt. This is when Mike had a luscious head of hair. He throws it to Claudio.
Right.
And the referee turns around and sees it, and now we turn it away. So I go for the rock bottom. That doesn't work. He goes for the Ricola bomb. Stop, internet. Oh, so I land on my feet. I give him the rock bottom.
Uh-huh.
Hope we don't miss this.
Okay.
And I slip.
Right.
I slip on the moonsault. One of the few times that I slip on the moonsault. And
Right.
you can see Claudio grabbing his forehead. So my thigh hits him square in the forehead. That was meant to be the finish.
Okay.
The moonsault was meant to be the finish. And so I land there and realize I just shit the bed.
Yeah.
So I roll over to Claudio and I say, okay, that's not the finish. Get up and kick me. So I'm telling him now, hit me with this big wacky bicycle kick.
Yeah.
Little did I know, and so he does. You see him selling his head. He kicks me. I kick out. And at this point, I'm trying to think of an alternate finish because I've been in a couple matches where guys they go directly to the finish when they mess up the finish, and I've always thought, no, don't do that because it looks like you fucked up.
Yeah.
And so I was calling more shit here. So now I tell him I wanted to do Angel's Wings. So I hit him here with Angel's Wings. And to my recollection, I thought this was the finish. But now I just watched it back earlier. He kicks out of this. And for some reason, I must have gotten brave to try the moonsault again after fucking it up. And you won't see this because of technical difficulties. But I actually hit it this time.
Yeah, no,
So,
we saw it.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
It froze on me.
on
me. But
no.
anyway, but yes. So funny story about this. Matt, I go back to the back and I go to Claudio. Hey man, I'm really sorry about that first one. Thank you so much. Appreciate everything. and he sort of looked at me like, yeah, okay. And I thought, oh man, is he mad at me? Is he upset? So I don't know how I found this out, but maybe a week or two later, I call him or text him or whatever, and he goes, I did that. He had sort of got knocked out. Like I gave
Oh,
him a
wow.
concussion when I hit him in the fucking head with my fat ass thigh, with my clumsiness. So, Claudio, if you're watching this, I apologize again. But and here's the thing: like this was like one of those things where you get two guys. At least you get a guy like Claudio, a superb professional like Claudio. Stuff goes awry. You calm down, you figure it out on the fly, you do it differently. And you know, if one of us wasn't a pro, we wouldn't have been able to do that. But we were both pros. He's one of the best ever.
Yes, he is.
And you know, and I'm so fortunate I got a chance to share the ring with him as often as I did.
You know, life happens fast. One minute you're driving home after work. The next, you see flashing lights in your rearview mirror. Your heart skips, your hands tighten on the wheel, and you start asking yourself, what do I do now? That's when you need someone on your side. And with the Legal Buddy app, you can connect with a local attorney in seconds, not hours, not days, but right when you need help. Whether it's a DWI, a car accident, a criminal charge, or even just a traffic ticket, the Legal Buddy app puts real legal support right in your pocket. Imagine having an attorney on call, ready to guide you through some of life's most stressful moments. This isn't a call center. It's not a waiting game. It's direct access to a lawyer who understands your situation and your community, and one who can step in right away. Think about it. When trouble knocks, do you want to face it alone? Or would you rather have the confidence of knowing a professional is already on your side? That's the peace of mind that Legal Buddy gives you. And here's how easy it is. Just download the Legal Buddy app right now at legalbuddyapp.com. Register today and use the referral code LEGAL for your chance to win a $250 Amazon gift card. Life is unpredictable. Accidents happen, tickets happen, mistakes happen. But when they do, you don't have to go through it alone. The Legal Buddy app, always on your side. Download the app today and enter the referral code LEGAL. Well, let's watch our third and final match of the evening. What are we watching here, and why did you pick this one, Chris?
Okay, so well, I think this was sort of co-chosen. I feel like Tony asked because he knew I had wrestled Bryan Danielson a bunch, and he asked me for my Bryan Danielson choices. And there's only two in ROH that I felt really stood out. There was one world title match that we had, but that's a half hour long. And Tony said, that's way too much Christopher Daniels. So he chose this one instead.
I'm sorry. Tony Khan said that? Too much
Tony Schiavone.
No, okay. I'm kidding.
So this is from the second Ring of Honor show.
Okay.
And to sort of set the stage, at the end of the main event of the first Ring of Honor show, Low-Ki pins me in this three-way. And they had established at the beginning of the show that all matches would begin and end with a handshake. And so that's what happened, except at the end, Low-Ki and Bryan Danielson shake hands and they come to me and I blow them off. And so I'm the only man on the show that doesn't adhere to the code of honor in the beginning. And so based on that, the idea of, Bryan was mad because he didn't get pinned. I was mad because I felt like I was double teamed to lose, and Low-Ki was, happy in his victory, but also, ready to fight again because I showed him disrespect. They booked a round robin challenge. So the idea was we would do Bryan Danielson versus Christopher Daniels, Bryan Danielson versus Low-Ki, Low-Ki versus Christopher Daniels. And so the opening match of the show, this show that we're about to watch, is myself versus Bryan. So this is 2002. Bryan and I aren't super close at this point. We had only really worked a couple times at this point. We did a little bit in ECWA together, which was Jim Kettner's promotion. Jim Kettner, one of the unsung heroes of independent professional wrestling. He created the Super 8 tournament, which was the direct inspiration for the King of Indies tournament in All Pro Wrestling, which was the direct inspiration for Ring of Honor. So if there was no Jim Kettner, if there was no Super 8 tournament, there would be no Ring of Honor promotion at all.
Oh, okay.
When Jim started his Super 8 tournament in the ECWA in Delaware, Roland Alexander thought, oh, we need to have a tournament like that on the East Coast for all of the independent wrestlers in the world. And then Gabe Sapolsky saw the King of Indies tournament and said, we should make a promotion out of that. And that's how Ring of Honor started. So
Wow.
I had done a couple shows with Bryan at ECWA, and then we did the 3-way on the first show. And then this is, I would have to look it up, but I'd probably like maybe the 8th time we've been in the ring together at this point in our careers.
Well, let's
That's
take a
your cue,
look.
Dave.
Here
Where
we
you
go.
at?
It's Christopher Daniels and Bryan Danielson way back when.
Way back when.
Wow.
What year is this from?
This is 2002. This is 2002. This is March of 2002, because the first show, it's either March or April of 2002, because the first show was February 23rd.
Third.
Okay.
23rd. Okay, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. And again, you turned away from the handshake.
Yep.
Hmm.
And this is Bryan Danielson, like at his the very early stages, but even at the early stage, he was incredible, just incredible. I will tell you this story as we're watching this beginning part. When he was Ring of Honor champion, I wrestled him on an independent show in Texas in a Ring of Honor world title match. And it was one of the only times in my life where I felt like I didn't need to be there at all. Like, he wrestled me and he basically just moved me around the way he wanted, you know, and he called everything and he did
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, we talked a little bit beforehand, but like, he was in such control. And I was like, it was very rarely where, like, I really feel like many of the matches that I ever wrestled, I'm at least 50% in terms of calling, controlling pace, that sort of thing.
Right.
Like with this match with Bryan, I maybe had 5% of my hand on the wheel, and the rest of it was Bryan Danielson. And I mean, that's sort of how, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, but that's sort of how I remember how I knew he was such a good wrestler. Is like, he was just doing everything he wanted to do, and it worked, and the crowd was going nuts. And I could have been asleep. I could have been like listening to an audiobook if we had audiobooks at that day. This was earlier on. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he was so good. He
Yeah.
was so good and so in control. It was like, I honestly, I felt sort of embarrassed. Like, man, you should really contribute a little bit more to this match, CD. But he didn't need me. He really didn't.
Chris, I was super fortunate to be able to visit with you guys in Nashville a few weeks ago at TV,
Mhm.
and I saw you sitting. I won't say the name because it's probably not something I should have seen, but it was in catering, and you were watching a match on a phone with an international talent, and they were clearly English second language, and the patience you had and the way she was trying to soak up everything you were saying, and you were going through all of it. I just thought, man, this is like the highest and best use of a Christopher Daniels. And in that moment, I felt like I'm seeing something really special here. And you were so good at it. I mean, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about it, but I was so impressed by seeing you at your job and what you do best now. I wonder, I know you get a lot of fulfillment out of that, but do you feel like, that may actually become your legacy even more than the in-ring? I mean, we're filled with a chat room here of people who just grew up watching your matches and love it. But now you're able to really spread your knowledge around, if that makes sense. And I was just so impressed by that. And I just wanted to say, thanks for letting me be on a fly on the wall when that was happening.
Oh, well, thanks, man. I honestly, I didn't realize that you had seen that. It took me a minute too, because I did that twice in that day. But when you said international talent, now I know who you're talking about. But yeah, and I will say that one of the things about AEW is that I feel like we have an embarrassment of riches in terms of the guys backstage that are available to help.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about, guys like Jerry Lynn and the Gunn and Colt Cabana and
Chris Hero.
yeah, Chris
Yeah.
Hero for sure.
Right.
Dean Malenko for
Dean
crying out
Malenko.
loud.
Yeah.
These guys that have been around the world and done it at various high levels. And so I try not to be possessive about talent. If a talent wants me, I'm thrilled, but I don't think of anybody as my guy. So I think what I'm trying to say is like I try to work with as many people as I can.
Sure.
And it's cool when someone seeks me out and goes, "Hey, I have this question. Hey, can you help me?" As far as that being my legacy, like I think that would only be the legacy to the people I work with, because I don't know if you can tell.
Right.
Like that's not something that's going to be often publicized. I don't think. Like every once in a while, you'll see things like, "Oh, Jerry Lynn praised by the wrestlers of this match because he produced their match and it was a banger." Okay, I mean, like, but that doesn't always happen, and it's sort of an unsung thing. Like you're not supposed to see the fingerprints. You're not supposed to know how the sausage is made. So
Right.
it's, if the people I work with, if the wrestlers that I work with feel that way, and they're like, "Oh, I was really happy that Christopher Daniels was my producer or my
Wow.
coach," then I'm thrilled. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because I have to be honest. I'm not like I wish I was still wrestling. You know what I
Sure.
mean? It's
I get it.
hard. It's hard. I'm in this sort of transitional phase of my life where I'm trying to find, I guess, fulfillment in this job.
Right.
And because like I feel like putting matches together when it was my match and my creativity, my creative juices were flowing. But now I'm in a position where it's not my match. So I don't really feel like I have the right to say, "Oh, you should do this like this. You should do this like this." And so when I do have those moments, it's really more in terms of fine tuning. It's not in terms of like full on writing a story, writing a promo, writing a match, like making it work. Like that, the stuff that I did when I was wrestling, where I would, put my match together and figure out why I was doing this and where I was going and promos and things like that. Like, I don't really get a chance to do that anymore. And so it's tough sometimes to be like, okay, you have to sort of take a back seat because it's not your turn anymore. Now it's their turn. And I'm still sort of coming to terms with that because, I like to perform, and I still wish I was performing in some way for AEW, for ROH, whatever. And it's tough sometimes. You gotta, it's it sort of humbles you a little bit to realize, like, hey, man, this isn't your time anymore. So it's
Sure.
tough. It's tough. I struggle with it every day.
I understand that. I really do. But you get to go out, with your, you got Scorpio, you got, you got the Martin kids, and you got Layla.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And every time I get an opportunity to do something with them, it's fun. It's a tough situation, especially being like a babyface manager. It's a very hard, it's very limited in what you can do.
Right.
So I'm still trying to figure that out as well.
Right.
But like I said, I like to perform. I take the opportunities that I get and try to make the best of it as I can. And, obviously I still don't mind falling down for a living. Thank you, Mercedes, for this Saturday.
Yeah. She came over and jerked my headset off and talked into the headset,
Right.
which was completely, I didn't know what was happening. And she talked to the headset as if she was talking to the crowd. Well, if you want to talk to the crowd, you pick up the stick mic.
Right.
So I'm talking. She goes, yink, just jerks her off the head. And Mike Mansouri said, "Well, you other guys have to talk until Tony gets his headset back on," or something like that.
Right.
It was amazing. It really was. But it's good stuff, man. I appreciate what you do, Chris. I really do. And
thank you, man.
you got a couple of real big pops in this match from the fans standing up, cheering what you guys are doing. So if you're just a dummy that that Bryan Danielson is rolling around, you're doing pretty damn good right here.
Yeah, I mean, this match was a little more even, Steven, in terms of like how we're putting it on.
Right.
But yeah, this was so there was a period of time where Bryan Danielson. I will tell you this. I have a list of the 6 people who have hit me the hardest in professional wrestling, and
Okay.
Bryan Danielson is first. I can tell you the
Wow.
list. The
Wow.
list
Okay.
is, and in no particular order except for
Okay.
Bryan.
All
It's
right.
Bryan,
Mhm.
Loki, Samoa Joe,
Right.
Eddie Edwards, Jay
Mhm.
Lethal, and Roderick Strong.
Wow.
Those are the 6. And if you're not on that list, you can chop me as much as you want because you cannot hit me any harder than those 6 men have hit me. I once said that to Bully Ray. Like, I wrestled a match. Me and Frankie did a tag match against Bully Ray and Sting. And I was like, yeah, give me a chop, Bully. I don't care. And Sting looked at me and was like, really? You don't mind getting chopped? And I was like, Steve. And then I said, he's not even top 6. Trust me, he's not even top 6.
Oh, wow.
So Bryan Danielson is the man that hit me the hardest. We were doing an ECWA tag match. It was him and Loki against me and Xavier. And there was a point in the match where I'm in the corner and he chops me and he punches me and he chops me and he punches me and he chops me and he punches me. That's the sequence that's happening.
It happened 1 week after this match we're watching, by the way.
It happened after this match?
The very next match you guys had.
Oh, shit. I thought this was before then. Okay.
This
But
is
anyway,
March 30th, but that match you're referencing, the tag match in ECWA, was April 6th. So it's 7
really?
calendar days
Okay.
later. Yeah.
That's crazy because I always thought, like when I had this match, I thought, oh, he's already hit me as hard as he ever will. But I was wrong. He hit me harder that night. So I'm in the corner. He goes 1, 2, 3, and right there on the 3, I thought, this is where I pass away. He's going to beat me to death. It was the hardest I'd ever been hit. And I wrestled him. It's funny because this was before he had been to Japan. And I think a lot of guys, when they watch Japan, they think they're hitting hard, and then they go to Japan and realize, oh, they're not hitting that hard. And I think Bryan was someone who benefited from that experience and became a much lighter touch in those things. And honestly, too, like I was always a guy that was like, go ahead and hit me. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if you kick good, if you chop well, go ahead, I can take it. And those guys, like, even as hard as he hit me, it wasn't like I was like sore or I couldn't wrestle the next day. It was
Right.
all part of the game. And
Right.
and I always tell guys, like, if you hit safe, you can hit hard if you hit safe, and Bryan was always safe.
Yeah.
That shot notwithstanding. So yeah, I mean, like Bryan, wrestling him in 2002 and then wrestling him again, 15 years later, it was just like being able to wrestle him when he was young and sort of like the raw was one thing, and then getting to work with him later in his career where he was so well seasoned, it was a privilege. And I don't know if there's a lot of guys that had that opportunity to wrestle him in his early days and then wrestle him when he became basically the best wrestler on the planet.
Right.
And I was one of them. So, I mean, again, something you can never take away from me is this experience.
There's something about Bryan when you, and I understand what you're saying, but when you talk to him today, and he and I spent a lot of time,
Sure.
now that he's an announcer in the back room, that he'll be playful and you'll laugh, and all of a sudden he becomes real serious, and you're thinking,
For sure.
you're
Well,
thinking,
I think he's been through it all. He's
Yeah.
been through it.
yeah,
There's very little that he hasn't dealt with in professional wrestling.
right,
And at this point too, I feel like he's very principled
Mhm.
and doesn't suffer fools lightly.
yes,
You know what I
Right.
mean? He's very playful and very, he's got a great sense of humor,
Mhm.
but also, I think at this point now in his career where he's got sort of a position of responsibility to the company.
right,
If he sees something that doesn't jibe with him,
Mhm.
he's not afraid to tell you,
right,
you know, which
Yeah.
is great. Which is great for us. We need
Sure.
more Bryan Danielsons.
We sure do.
You know what I mean?
Yep. We need more Christopher Daniels too. Whoa, look at that.
Oh,
Look
pile
at that.
driver. Thank you, Terry Funk. That was for you, sir.
Okay. Very cool.
Chris, you mentioned earlier that one of the greatest pleasures of your life was being involved in Sting's last match. You helped produce that. Can you tell us some other matches that you got to produce that you're particularly proud of that maybe folks should go check out?
Okay, sure. This is the finish, by the way. Bryan just tapped out, so
Oh,
he's
hell
done.
yeah.
Oh,
One of the
there you
few
go.
times that I beat Bryan Danielson.
How about that?
Yay me. Yeah, okay. So I produced the first time Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay wrestled
Okay.
in an AEW ring. The Forbidden Door. Is it Forbidden Door? See, here's the problem. This mentality, this memory garbage. You may have to go to Cage Match, but
Yep.
I want to say it was the Forbidden Door. The first time Kenny and Will wrestled in AEW. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. That would have been
Yeah.
Forbidden Door 2023, June 25th, 2023.
Yeah, was that in Canada?
Toronto,
Yep.
Canada.
Okay. Yes.
That's right.
Yep. Then that was it. I produced that match, and let's see some other matches. Like I've produced pretty much most of the Young Bucks matches in AEW.
Yeah, and
So
that would be
include.
including Revolution 2020, which I've made mention many times as the best tag match I've ever called. The Bucks against Omega and Hangman in 2020 in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I produced that.
Yeah, right before the
But
pandemic.
it's hard. I will say this. I don't like being the producer of matches like that. I don't like to take credit. Like a lot of times, like if I'll be at the table, I'll finish producing the match, and Tony will say, "Hey, great match, CD," and I'm like, "That's not my product. Like I helped, but it's hard for me to take credit and say like, oh, thanks,
Right.
Tony,' or
Right.
you know what I mean? It's
Sure.
you know, I may have helped in terms of I'm completely a supporting player, so it's hard for me to be like, I did this, I did this, like they did this, I
Yeah.
helped, and if I did any sort of, if there were any of my suggestions that helped make this match go from here to here, then I'm thrilled. But also, I don't know that I should be like outwardly taking credit for it. You know what I mean? It's not my
Sure.
match.
Right.
Sting had the match that he had, and it was great, and he went out on top. So I don't know if I should be like, I had a part in that. It's not my. I shouldn't. I feel weird about it. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So like I'm thrilled that the people who asked for me to be their coach or their producer asked for me. And if a match that I produce garners favor from the wrestling fan base, then I'm thrilled. But it's hard for me to be like, that's my work there. It is and it isn't. That's how I feel anyway.
Yeah, Chris, it's the same with me when I always think that I'll have a great call only if the match is great.
For sure.
It's the guys, it's not me. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can fuck up a good match, but but I think when the match is great, it's kind of like umpires. All right. It's like the best umpires
sure.
are the ones
are
that
invisible.
they're invisible, right? And the best
Yeah.
announcers, I think, are the ones that just you don't remember what the announcers say. You remember
Sure.
what was in the match. So I
Sure.
understand where you're
It's the feeling. It's the
Right.
feeling. Like
Yeah.
that overall feeling.
Yeah.
Like unless there's like, it's Chinatown line. You know what I mean? If
Yes.
there's some iconic line that you hit, then great.
Yeah.
But also that wasn't necessarily the goal. It was like, oh, it just happened because this happened. So I thought of this and it came out and it's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what you mean. Like we can really ruin something.
Yes.
But we can both
Right.
ruin something if we
Yes.
wanted to, but
We sure
we
can.
try not to.
Yeah. Who's in your lap right there now?
Okay, so this is Captain.
Captain?
We have two pugs. The
Okay.
other one is Nugget.
Okay.
This is Captain, and
Hey,
he's a good boy. So
Yeah. He looks like
I thought I'd let him know because he was scratching the hell out of my leg a second
Right.
ago. And I
Yeah.
thought, well, now you're getting on camera, dog.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
all right, off you go, Cap.
He is happy.
Well, Chris, we greatly appreciate all the time, man. We have loved catching up with some of your Ring of Honor career. I want to encourage everybody who wants to see more of Chris in Ring of Honor. It's available now, all of those great matches at watchroh.com. You don't want to miss what they got going on in Honor Club. And, man, Chris, this was fantastic. What a treat.
Thanks so much, guys. I
time.
appreciate it. I'm going to show Tony my shirt just to let everybody know I'm a John Byrne guy.
Oh, wow. Very
so
cool.
There you go.
All
Just
right.
letting everybody know if you're a John Byrne fan, so is Christopher Daniels.
Very cool.
So,
all right, Chris.
thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me on
Thank
there.
you very much.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You guys take care, and let's do this again sometime because I love to talk about myself, apparently.
Well, we love hearing about it. Thank you so much. Tony, what
Yes,
a
sir.
it was to have Christopher Daniels. You and I have been fans of his for a long time. Of course, you get to call him a co-worker every week. But right now, Tony, unfortunately, it looks like it's about that time.
Well, Dave, would you hit the music, please? I guess. Like this music, Conrad?
Yeah, it's fine. I don't really know what we're doing here.
Okay, hang on a second. I'm trying to get my thing to work here. Oh, shit.
Well, should have had some Blue Chew.
Yeah, I should have had some food too. My thing ain't working here. Sorry.
Well, we'll try again next week. Next week with a little helping hand, the hot tag from Blue Chew. Be sure to use promo code WHW.
No, I want to do it.
We come to you live every week on Patreon at patreon.com /W Monday.
I want to do it.
Of course.
Dave?
Are you okay? Or did you have a stroke, Tony?
Dave, hit the music again. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. Get it? Okay, well, we tried. See you next week on What Happened When.
I guess.
Wednesdays.
Okay. Look, we had our big shot on WCW Nitro, and you slipped for the first time ever.
I had something special planned. Mondays we come to you ad-free and exclusively on.
It's wrong. Patreon.com /WHW Monday. And of course, adfreeshows.com. Did you put Christmas on a credit card? Don't stress out about that extra holiday spending. SaveWithConrad.com can help you consolidate all of your high interest rate credit cards into one much lower monthly payment. SaveWithConrad.com has helped families just like yours save up to $800 a month. You don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket. And did I mention no payments until March? So don't make saving money a resolution next year. Make it happen today at SaveWithConrad.com. NMLS number 2129, Equal Housing Lender.